guys. Hey, we're back here with the Folklore Scrolls. Is here with me, John.
And Goose, the other guy.
Yeah, that's right.
And John.
Uh-huh. I'm right here,
and
John.
And me, Goose.
Uh-huh, that's right. We're back here in the spooky time month.
With special guest John.
Yeah, John. And special guest here, Goose.
Who we had to sadly ask to leave.
He's fired. We're having to make cuts here. And, yeah, so I'm just gonna be doing a ventriloquist thing here. And speaking of ventriloquist, we found the perfect SCP for the spooky month. And this is SCP-174. And how about you start us out there, Goose?
Alright, let's see here. Special containment procedures. SCP-174 is to be contained within a storage unit.
Oh yeah.
At Site 19.
Oh wow, they're actually telling us the site.
That's, well, but where is that?
Well, it's, the only sites I remember them telling us is Site 17.
I'm gonna guess it's in Ohio.
Site 9.
Just as a random guess. No information is supported in this, but it's in Ohio.
Maybe it's
just
like
saying.
SCP just makes you think of Ohio.
Oh. Removal of SCP-174 from containment requires the approval of 2 Level 4 personnel.
Now count it up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4.
5. Shit.
And you're the weakest link.
That's why we had to ask me to leave. They have to be familiar with the entity. It's preferable to use personnel with high psychic resistance scales.
Personnel
scores.
High psychic
resistance scale scores when interacting with SCP-174. All personnel in contact with it are to undergo psychological evaluation. Those who display obsessive or protective tendencies towards the item are to be treated with Class B amnesiacs. Amnesthetics. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
You say it well, just to make sure I'm saying it right.
Amnesthetics.
Cool. And monitored for 72 hours.
Okay, so if they display obsessive or protective tendencies towards...
No, I don't think we've said... You already said it was a ventriloquist. I think, yeah. So.
No, I kind of made implications, but I didn't say exactly what it was.
I mean, yeah, here's a picture.
But yeah, we're looking at a picture here. You're hearing it on the podcast. So if you're seeing it on YouTube, you probably already seen it in the thumbnail.
Cute? Isn't
it's so adorable. You ever read Goosebumps back in the day?
Of course, I read
Yeah,
Goosebumps.
it looks almost like that guy, but it looked like he got into drugs. And he's homeless now.
The guy you're thinking of has like angry eyebrows.
Yeah, but he's also like in a tuxedo. This is like him in the future after he's got off of meth.
Lost.
He's living on the streets. Yeah, lost his job.
He's trying to make do.
He's got dark circles like around his eyes. He's got one lazy eye off to the side. He's got some women's lipstick on there. He's got a
potential future as like a sports announcer, but he's just not there yet. He doesn't have the right credentials. It's
his last name's Madden.
It's touch and go.
It's like, I gotta tell you there, boys. He's gonna run down the field and he's gonna catch the ball and he's gonna run it and yeah, he's gonna make a touchdown there, Bob. I gotta tell you.
Everyone's just really, really attached to this guy's voice, and they see like him on the news sports cast. He's behind the desk, and everyone just goes, "Oh." What the heck is that? And they switch channels.
Addendum to containment procedures. Blank blank 20 blank.
That's the date. Write it down.
Following incident 174A, SCP-174 and the main chamber of storage, Unit 07, are to be monitored at all times via video surveillance. Abnormal activity must be reported to Dr. A. Blank immediately. Furthermore, a GPS tracking device is to be installed on SCP-174 in order to expedite recovery should the item translocate outside of the Foundation custody.
Tell me, what does it look like in words?
What? Oh, it's the description.
You see what it looks like on picture, but let's hear it.
SCP-174 is a wooden ventriloquial figure measuring 53 centimeters from head to toe with somewhat ragged clothing and slight damage to several sections. Slight, you say?
Slight.
Judging by the item's style and state of repair, it dates from the early 20th century. The eyes and mouth of SCP-174 can be manipulated by means of a mechanism inside the figure. When viewed in peripheral vision, subjects report on occasion that SCP-174 is looking directly at them with an expression of longing or sadness. When subjects look directly at SCP-174, this anomalous expression is not visible. Viewing SCP-174 indirectly, such as a mirror or the live video feed, it appears to increase the likelihood of this effect manifesting itself. Personnel in the vicinity of SCP-174 report a general feeling of sadness or sympathy directed toward the figure, but cannot explain any reason for these feelings. Prolonged exposure can lead to personnel personifying the figure to great extents. Those with particularly low psychic resistance scale scores in some cases begin to act as if SCP-174 were a living being, cradling it as if it were a baby.
You know, they probably feel sympathetic because of what it's wearing. I mean, it looks like a ragged,
right?
freaking
I mean, he
hobo.
looks like he's going under hard times.
I feel bad for it.
When informed of their abnormal behavior, all personnel revert to standard behavior patterns for at least several minutes.
Subjects who place SCP-174 on their hand report an urge to converse with it. I mean, it sounds like normal to me. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
When questioned, they frequently report that the figure is lonely and needs companionship. The subject will also begin speaking for SCP-174 and manipulating its expression. When speaking for the figure, the subject's voice will take on a higher-pitched, childlike tone. Recordings taken with high-sensitivity microphones have determined that at no point does the figure itself actually speak or make any discernible noise. Regardless of the subject's experience, the act will be almost perfect. The conversation will move quickly towards the discussion of the figure's emotional state, particularly in relation to its past. In most cases, leading to the retelling by the figure of a story how it was abandoned or mistreated. No one story has ever been repeated, and therefore which, if any, is true is unknown. Researchers have theorized SCP-174 may have a low-level telepathic abilities, as each story seems to be based around a theme that will have particular resonance with the current subject.
Past this point, subjects will show great affection for SCP-174 and will attempt to protect it from people who come too close or try to interact with it, in some cases with deadly force. Subjects often refer to SCP-174 as their baby, to use similarly strong terms of endearment when referring to it. This effect persists for several hours after SCP-174 and the subject have been separated. In at least one case, the effect had not dissipated 2 weeks after final interaction. Whether the effect would ever be lessened is unknown, as the subject in question was terminated owing to the lack of compelling reason for further study. You're fired! Get out of here!
You get the hell out!
Subjects who are completely isolated from SCP-174 will become paranoid as to the figure's safety, and often undergo a mental collapse similar to that observed in mothers separated from young children. Class B or stronger amnesiacs have been shown to be effective in curing both the obsessive effect and the majority of any resilient mental trauma. However, almost all who undergo such treatment complain of feelings of loss and can become depressive. Dang, dude.
Dang, man. Just give him the doll.
Right?
Addendum 1741. Experiment log. Transcription of video footage.
So this is a transcript of what happened on video.
Subject is D14285, female, 21, no
She's
history.
my favorite.
She's favorite girl. Subject D14285.
That's right.
No history of violent crime. The researcher is Dr. A. Because the rest is blank, so it's just Dr. A. Location, containment cell A4. Researcher and staff observing from behind two-way mirror. D14285 is ordered to place SCP-174 on their hand. Subject does so after initial hesitation. After several seconds, subject begins a mundane conversation with SCP-174. After 2 minutes, the subject asks SCP-174, "What happened to you?" At which point, the figure begins to recount a story of how it was left behind and damaged in a house fire, and subsequently discarded by its original owner. Note: subject's records indicate that her house was the victim of an arson attack in 19-something. Subject begins to console the figure, and reassure it with standard positive statements. Figure remarks that it is lonely and wants to find friends. Subject begins to punch and pound the door with their free hand. When guards enter the cell, sidearms raised, the subject recoils to the corner of the cell, cradling the figure and whispering to it. Exact words not picked up by microphone. The guards succeed in removing SCP-174 from the subject and leave the cell. At this point, the subject screams, "We have him, my wonderful baby!" and begins punching and kicking the door in a futile escape attempt. Note: at this point, Dr. A ordered the experiment concluded. D14285 was terminated after attempts to calm her failed. This experiment was a one and first conducted with SCP-174, before the efficiency of amnesiacs had been apparent.
Wow. So, what had happened was that somehow it was able to telepathically know that she had a house fire in her past.
Yeah.
And used that for a bonding mechanism with her.
Besties.
Yeah. So it's like, you had a house fire? I had a house fire. It's almost like
so
Oprah.
Weird.
It's like Oprah's like, anybody goes on her shows like, I've been there.
Oh, I feel
I've
you.
been
I've been there.
there.
My father was also attacked
Oprah,
by a bear.
I had all my limbs blown off in the war. I've been there.
Oh,
We've all been there at one point.
Ain't that right, crowd? And go, woo!
You all get a car.
Have some cars. Have some cars.
Hopefully you can pay the tax on it.
I have no job. I can't drive a car with my limbs. Then have a smart car, electric.
Yeah, you
There
have
go.
a Tesla. It drives itself.
There you go. Everyone gets a Tesla. Woo!
Just don't tell them they got to pay taxes.
Don't tell them it's a lease.
It's a funny thing. That'd be the worst. So, Addendum 174-2. Incident 174A. On blank 20 blank, Dr. A enters storage unit 07 to find SCP-174 sitting on the floor next to its containment unit, looking directly at the main entrance door. The door to SCP-174's unit had been sealed shut, with no access having been logged in the previous week. After being replaced in containment, video surveillance was installed with storage unit 07 as a precaution against further translocations, and a GPS tracking unit was attached to SCP-174. So maybe he's like the toys in Toy Story.
I think, I didn't see the new Toy Story, but I know there are ventriloquist dummies in that one.
Is there?
Yeah.
That'd be creepy.
I remember there's 2 of them that look just like the ones in Goosebumps.
Oh, wow.
So sooner or later, I'm going to see it.
So, yeah, that'd be crazy. I didn't even know there was a new Toy Story. Oh, yeah, that's the one with the fork.
Yeah, the fork.
And I was like, there's no way they're going to make toys with the fork that's just got a little, like, straw on it.
I mean...
And they did.
It's a fair...
It was crazy.
It's a fair concept
word.
in Toy Story lore. What happens if you make a toy out of objects? What
Well,
happens
I guess if you think back, Toy Story 1, Sid basically made it, but he made toys out of other toys.
Yeah. Well, if you play with a tree and call it a toy, would the tree come to life?
Maybe. And become treants.
Freaking, that's where that comes from.
And we had to discuss with them second breakfast.
That's where all monsters come from. Someone was playing with like a lion's corpse as a toy,
You
and then it
believe
turned into a
hard
chimera.
enough. You just gotta believe.
You just gotta believe.
You gotta believe dragons are real. We're gonna become the new
Ghost
Alex Jones. They're turning the frogs into dragons.
You gotta believe that the goats can fly.